Good afternoon, everyone. I'm GoLocal Live contributor Chelsea Gay here in the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center with our weekly segment of what is happening in Rhode Island. And I am very excited to welcome my first guest today via Skype, Renee Strauss. Thank you so much for joining us, Renee. We really appreciate you being on with GoLocal Live.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
What's happening with the audio, Joe? I'm not able to hear you. I can see you talking.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, I know. I don't know if... Did you mute yourself by any chance, Renee?
No.
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 Oh, you can hear her. Oh, I apologize. Oh, she just hung up. It's all right. She's coming back. No, I wouldn't cut it because she's back.
Yeah. Did I cut that? I didn't do anything.
No, you're good. You're good. I apologize. It was audio on my end, so we're sorry about that. We're so glad to have you on. No problem. Everybody has technical difficulties. So
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so we're having you on as we come into 2019. You guys just posted a great article on wetaways.com, which you founded with your daughter, about honeymoon and destination wedding trends. So we're really excited to talk to you about this area, about trends in the honeymoon and destination wedding space. So before we get into that, I would love to give our guests a little bit of background information on yourself. You have a very interesting background. So let's hear a little bit about you and what you've done in your career.
Okay, I'll give it a quick roundup. I always loved the bridal industry because it fascinated me that someone would spend so much money on a garment that they would wear once.
Yes.
So I led into the wedding industry in a luxury retail bridal salon in Beverly Hills. And capitalizing on that market, I created magnificent store windows on the busiest boulevard that ran through Beverly Hills. Subsequently, because we are in the heart of Hollywood as well, producers and directors of TV, motion picture, and commercial productions would pass me on their way to or from work every day. And inevitably, when they were working on any kind of wedding production, soap operas or TVs or movies or print, they would come into my store and see what we had in terms of wardrobe, and they would subsequently purchase, or we would work out arrangements for them to get the wardrobe from my company. And very often they hired me to consult on the sets. And during those wonderful opportunities, I got to meet many of the actors, the producers, and the directors. Slowly but surely, they started asking me to not only do the wardrobe for their own personal weddings, but also to plan their entire wedding. Because as a retail bridal salon, I was what we call a first feeder to all kinds of wedding industry professionals. So musicians, bakers, florists, photographers, everyone would come to my store and say, would you give my business card to your clients? Because we were the first touch point of anyone getting married outside of the jewelry store. And so I had a huge database of all kinds of people that were wedding vendors around the world. And therefore, I was very happy to accept actual wedding production, but because my referral base was from local wedding planners, the only jobs I could take were the destination jobs. So I took destination weddings, and they were really magnificent and amazing. And when I got to Europe and started doing destination weddings, I realized it would be a great idea to actually import wedding gowns into the U.S.
Yep.
So I did. I started to import wedding gowns, and I worked with trade commissions from Spain, France, and Italy as a guest to all the European wedding markets. Through those contacts, I was able to get a great sense of the European landscape in terms of the wholesale market and also all of the wedding industry vendors as well.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody during a certain point of time got a reality show, and I got one too on TLC, Brides of Beverly Hills, and it became pretty quickly an international success.
Yes.
And I was a huge show in Canada and probably the #1 cable show in Italy for several years. And through that opportunity and all the visibility that I garnered there, the Trade Commission, who had been bringing me to Europe for all of the wedding gown events where I was importing wedding gowns, gave my credentials to the Italian Tourism Board, who contacted me to bring more awareness to their wedding market overall.
There we go.
And when I started going to Italy for that purpose, I had the inspiration to start another wedding industry umbrella spin-off of Wetaways, and my daughter came in on the development of that company, and 3 years later, we're rocking and rolling around the world.
Well, so destination weddings are definitely sort of a snowballing trend, I would say, especially with millennials. Things are getting a little less traditional. The church and all that stuff's kind of going out the door, and people are willing to travel to amazing destinations, have smaller, more intimate wedding engagements. So let's talk about those trends. I mean, what have you outlined as popular destinations that you're seeing for the actual weddings, popular destinations we're seeing for honeymoons? You know, let's talk me through kind of what you're seeing for next year as being the big top trends.
Well, you know, with the big success of Ancestry.com and 123andMe, or I'm not sure what that company
all those
is called.
DNA tests, yeah.
Yeah, people are starting to really want to return to their roots. So we are doing a lot of business for what we call heritage return. Therefore, Ireland is a huge destination for us because there are tons of Irish immigrants into the U.S., especially from the 1800s and the famines that they had. Millions of people came. And Italy has always been not only a heritage destination, but the land of love overall. So those two countries are always in high demand. And because millennials are so curious in what's new and best and fastest, we are sending a lot of couples to Japan. So that's a very strong trend as well. Of course, we also do a lot of weddings in Marrakesh, Morocco, and honeymoons as well. And we're seeing the honeymoon trips extend from maybe 7 to 8 days to up to 3 weeks. So those are the big trends that we're seeing going forward.
Okay. And talk to me about, personalized and more intimate wedding gifts that you're seeing. Are you seeing couples, get a little bit more creative with that? What are you noticing in that area? And, elaborate a little on that for me.
On a destination wedding, they're usually over a 2 to 3 day period because the guests have to actually arrive in the destination. Then the hosting couple wants to make sure that they're taken care of when they land in terms of a welcome or rehearsal dinner, then of course the wedding day, and then the farewell brunch or lunch. Yep. Well, during that time period, guests are usually gifted either a bag or a welcome basket of things that are really indigenous to the area. So when we do business in Japan, for example, our people on the ground go shopping for beautiful silk fans, or something like that, of that nature, or beautiful little bento boxes of gifts and goodies for the couples. And wherever clients are going, we really, with our teams on the ground, we work as a destination wedding management company as well. So we work with regional planners in every area, as well as we have our own network of planners. We very often buy gifts that, again, are very indicative of the region. In Ireland, for example, craft beers are really popular. So depending on the county where the wedding is taking place, we'll give all the guests bottles of craft beer that they can enjoy. And it's very, very for couples to be able to do that, which makes it a very interpersonal relationship and experience.
And you mentioned planning. I mean, when you originally think destination wedding, you think, you're going to Mexico and they're just they have a package and you're purchasing the package. Are you seeing couples get a little more brave and thinking outside the box and sort of coming up with their own piecemeal wedding based on different, local things that happen in the area? Or are we still seeing these kind of canned packages?
It's such a great question, Chelsea, because there are, of course, many people that will buy a package and it will be relatively inexpensive and they will get a cookie cutter experience. But Wetaways really specializes in what we call bespoke or unique experiences that are really made to order for the couples themselves. So therefore, we have our destination wedding planners in all of the regions. Mexico in particular is easy to get to for East Coast couples as well as West Coast couples. And we're able to really personalize experiences, even in all-inclusive resorts that are adults only, that can do magnificent bespoke packages. And it's something, like I said, that we specialize in. What we try to do for our couples is to create what we call fam trips. That's spelled F like familiarize, A-M. And a fam trip is when we gather up to 10 wedding couples, and we will bring them to a destination. They can visit up to 5 or 8 sites in a 3-day period. And we have our wedding planners that accompany them and our virtuoso Wedaways travel planners that are there on site as well. And they can actually book their weddings right then and there with our professionals, get the lay of the land, see what the region offers, see what the individual sites and properties offer. And it's really a very specialized, catered experience for the couples.
And, another trend that you mentioned was people that are waiting for their honeymoon for, better times, whether it's cherry blossom season or waiting 6 months to get better weather, which is something that breaks the tradition a little with, normal wedding etiquette would be to go directly after the wedding. Are you seeing a lot of couples that are willing to wait for a better or a more price-effective experience?
Yes, there are, as you said, people that embark on their honeymoon like you saw in the movie Father of the Bride, toss the bouquet and leave the house. And go right. By the way, I did the wardrobe for that movie, and I'm in that movie.
Of course you did.
but then there are the people that they will wait and go on an extended honeymoon when either they've got their paid time off from work, or if let's say they get married in the winter, but they really want to enjoy a summer experience, they'll wait a few months and then go on this during the summer, or vice versa. People who love winter sports will go heli skiing in Canada, or even to Gstaad, Switzerland, to the Alps and swim, or and ski, or, depending on what their lifestyle and their love of adventure is, many people wait. And also, people are very busy these days. There are a group of couples that we call the Henrys. Henry stands for high earners, not rich yet. And they will go either in between projects because they are, for example, working project to project, or they're working contractually, and when a contract ends, they'll grab that time and then they'll go. So we are very flexible, and we actually love that creative aspect where we can work with a client on their wedding during one season and then plan this amazing honeymoon for them during another season completely, and they get the most incredible experiences that way.
And I would be remiss if I didn't ask, for the ladies out there, bachelorette party trends. I know, people are traveling. I just traveled for mine to New Orleans, so we whooped it up in New Orleans. So what are you seeing as bachelorette party trends for 2019? You're seeing them travel. You're seeing more local parties. What are you seeing?
Well, I don't want to leave out the bachelors either.
Okay, we won't leave them out.
Bachelor getaways. The answer is that depending upon the lifestyle of the bride or the groom, they gather up their friends. They can go from, let's say, the East Coast. We've sent brides and their homies or grooms and their homies to Ireland or Scotland to do whiskey or scotch tasting. We've sent them to the French wine country for champagne tasting. They've gone to Croatia because Dubrovnik, for example, it's not expensive. It's relatively easy to get there. It's an adventure, but it's so gorgeous and it's so full of young people. Or they'll go to Marrakesh for a shopping experience. Or they'll go, like you said, down to New Orleans, which I love. It's a fabulous place. Or even from the East Coast up to Nova Scotia in Canada for a great weekend of golf. So people are grabbing that time. They're sharing it with their friends. And it's all about the experience and the love and it's a short life, unfortunately. You got to grab it while you can get it. And people are taking maximum advantage of that.
Great. And so I have a couple more questions I want to ask you before we sign off. First off, can you just walk our viewers through the Wedaways process? It's not a paid service, if I'm not mistaken. It's something that you consult with couples and provide them with experiences. And so, what is this process from start to finish when you work with Wetaways.com?
When you come to Wetaways, you can first look at our portfolio of international destinations and properties. We will help you find the perfect destination and perfect venue for all of your celebrations. We will then help you choose from the best wedding planners that we have in the region that will make your dreams come true. And we won't let go. We'll hang on and help you plan the most amazing honeymoon, and we'll take you through the entire process with all the itineraries, and we'll get you there and get you home, and you will have a soup to nuts, A through Z experience. And we won't forget your guests either. We'll take care of all the room blocks, no matter where they're going or you're going in the world, as well as take care of all of your guest travel and pre and post travel of your guests if you so desire.
Excellent.
So we are a full service company.
Beautiful. And I also have to ask, I was on your Instagram, I saw you've been doing a lot of traveling. Where is your favorite place you've been in the past 6 months?
Well, I have been many places in the last 6 months.
Got to pick a favorite.
I got to pick a place. I would say probably somewhere in Italy, because I go to Italy about 8 times a year,
Okay.
and I really love it. And Pamela, my daughter and business partner, is on a 23-day honeymoon right now. She went to Abu Dhabi,
3 days,
Dubai,
wow.
India, and Sri Lanka, and she's loving it all.
Wow. All right, second question. Who was the most memorable bride on Brides of Beverly Hills?
On Brides of Beverly Hills, probably Diana DeGarmo and Ace Young. They are Broadway stars, and I not only had them on the show as my guests, but I actually planned and produced their wedding. And Ace Young was the only groom that, when he walked up the aisle, bent over and gave me a kiss before he got to the top.
Okay, and most memorable production that one of your dresses is featured in?
Father of the Bride.
Father of the Bride. Awesome. Well, Renee, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I know you're on West Coast time, so you still got a good chunk of the day ahead of you at this point. You guys have an office in Bristol, Rhode Island, which is great to know for anybody that's interested in checking you out locally, and also in Cork, Ireland. If any of our guests are in Cork, Ireland at the moment, they can check you out there. But based in Beverly Hills for most of the time, which is a great idea. It's 20 degrees here.
We love it.
It's 20 degrees here right now, so I am very jealous. So hopefully I'll get out that way. I'll come out that way to interview you next time. I'll come to Beverly Hills. So we hope our guests check out Wetaways.com. Again, all of the destinations are verified by Renee and her team, and you can set up a consultation to find out awesome places to travel for you and your spouse, or if you're already married, maybe somewhere just to go on your second honeymoon. Who knows? So, Renee, thank you so much for taking the time with Go Local Live today. We'll be back with our next guest in just a couple minutes. Welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm here with my second guest, Michael D. Grand Prix from the Providence Downtown Neighborhood Association. Michael, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We have you on like probably once a year just to
Yes.
get a gauge on what's happening in downtown.
Yes.
So couldn't be a more fitting time. You guys just had your annual meeting a couple days ago
We did.
at the Grace Pavilion, which is beautiful.
It is a
People
fabulous
haven't been
space.
there. What a nice venue that is.
We're very, very lucky to have that
Yeah,
space.
I mean, it's relatively new too, and you wouldn't really know it's there, but it's gorgeous, right next to the Episcopal Church.
Yes, it is attached to the Episcopal Church, and they've been wonderful. Grace Church has been wonderful to us, so we appreciate that.
So before we get into all your amazing accomplishments over the past year,
Yeah.
let's talk about how this whole thing started up, because in 2014, before that, we didn't have really a downtown neighborhood association.
Sure.
So tell our viewers a little bit about how this came to be.
Yeah, so in 2014, a couple of us were new to the area, new to the downtown area. We moved into the Peerless Lofts, and we realized that there were neighborhood associations for all the other neighborhoods in Providence, except for downtown. And so we were saying, you know, there's some quality of life and safety concerns that we have. Also, we were interested in graffiti cleanup and making sure that the lights are turned on so that when we walk around here, we feel safe. And so we said, you know, where do we go? What do we do? How do we fix that? And so through asking some questions of some other neighbors, we ended up finding that there was no real good advocacy group for the folks who live down here. There are some fabulous business associations that take care of the businesses and organizations down here, but nothing really for the residents. And so out of that, we started, we pulled a bunch of folks together, and we had our first meeting on October 14th, I think it was, of 2015. And so about 3 years ago. And we brought the mayor in, we brought Councilman Yurden, and a few other Providence players and friends.
I think it was like 100 people, not a few, right?
There were, yeah, it was about 100 folks.
You don't have to downplay it. That's a big deal.
Just want to be modest. But we pulled about 100 folks together, neighborhood residents and business owners, people who are concerned, stakeholders, I guess you could call them. And we did it in the atrium of the Peerless building, and we had a fabulous response. And what we did is we asked folks, you know, what do you love about Providence downtown? Yep. What do you think could be improved? And what are your wishes for this area? And then from that list, we formed about a 6-page document that we then took and presented to a few folks, including Councilman Yurden and a few others, to say, hey guys, we polled our group, our constituents, and we said, what interests you? And so we put together this list, and then from there, we really formulated the mission statement and then kind of the vision of what we wanted this organization to do. We formulated committees for beautification, safety, beautification.
It's very, very beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful down here. I'm trying to think of what the other ones were, but we formulated some committees, and basically those specified different target areas of what we wanted to work on as residents, and so that's where we went from there.
There we go. So fast forward to now. I know 2017 there was a big push for the Providence River cleanup, which was great.
Yes.
That was something 200 volunteers came out and worked on that for a long span of time.
Yes.
And
still going too.
Still going. Yeah, it's an ongoing project. I don't think that and other companies have started to participate. Providence Kayak started having river cleanups.
Yes.
I mean, really, it's sort of been a movement in Providence. So.
It has.
And so tell me about 2018 accomplishments, including the river cleanup. What else do we have to thank you for this year?
Yeah, well, I'll start with that, actually, and I'll just build on that. The momentum that we had from that project has been fabulous. We increased by about 100 more volunteers. We're up to about 300 folks who have come out over the last few years to help us with Riverwalk cleanups. We've saved the city an estimated $250,000 in labor costs.
There you go.
We've worked, that's been fabulous. And we've worked really closely with the Parks Department. Wendy and her boys over there have been absolutely fantastic in working with us to get materials for the project, and also just for general guidance, because we don't know exactly all the places that we can and should be painting, but they've given us great guidance, helped us with a little masking tape and things like that, so we're indebted to them for all their help. And then from there, we also have continued some of the great programs doing walks around the city. Lighting continues to be an issue that we see that could be greatly improved in the downtown area. So we're working with the city on that and trying to utilize the 311 app, which the city has, which has been great for us, but there are some things that could be improved, and also just the response times and things that happen as a result of putting that information in we're really working hard and collaborating with the city. That's kind of the key word, is that we just, zoom the camera out, big picture, our organization wants to collaborate with others to make good change happen in the area of the city where we work, play, and live. Not all of us work here, but a lot of us, we all live here, at least in the Downtown Neighborhood Association, or have a stake in some way. So been working on that. And then I think one of the big things that we're really proud about, and a shout out to Christine Francis, who was on our board. She just rolled off, unfortunately, to pursue some other things, but she got really spearheaded with some other board members a summit for all the neighborhood associations. Okay. So in September at the Lippitt House, we got all the heads of the neighborhood associations in the city of Providence together. And what we talked about were, what are the concerns that you have right now that are biggest for your neighborhood, and what do you see for the whole city seems to be some of the challenges that you're having, what's working, and what could we all talk about to help move our city forward from a resident standpoint.
Great.
And anticipating your potential next question, I'll say one of the biggest things that came out of that meeting
That's exactly what I was going to ask.
I'm trying. One of the big things that came out of that meeting was how can we communicate most effectively with City Hall to make sure that the needs of the residents are being considered and are being heard, and that we're all able to work together, because the city is a wonderful place. We all love it, and we all live here. So how do we make that work to the best of our ability? And like I said, 311 has been very helpful in a lot of things, but there are some places we can improve, and so we're all trying to just work together and find out how we can make that go as best as possible with our great friends at
And
City
you
Hall.
mentioned safety. I mean, something we didn't touch upon yet is the Downtown Crime and Safety Watch, which is another thing that's relatively new over the past few years.
Yeah.
And can you talk about the impact of that on downtown as well? What that
Totally.
is?
Yeah, we're really excited. One of the things that the Downtown Neighborhood Association has are these Neighborhood Crime Watch meetings. Kristen Stone, who's a board member of ours, has done a fabulous job of helping organize those. And I have to pull my cheat sheet out so I can see. There's the next meeting, actually. We're not doing a January normal meeting, but instead we're going to do a Crime Watch meeting, which is January 14th at the Water Place Towers at 6 p.m. The information will be on our Facebook and on our website, but the impact of that has been great. And part of that has been our working with the police and with the Parks Department, and also with the folks in City Hall who do the engineering of the lights and things like that. It's been definitely challenging. We've had some hiccups trying to figure out, okay, these lights are out, but why? It's not the bulb, so it's something else. So it's taken a lot of work, but we're excited about some of the progress we've made. The bridges under and around Water Place Basin, the lights under there haven't been working for years, and we're very excited to say that as of this week, we got some lights turned on underneath there.
High five.
Yeah.
Nice
So
job.
hopefully people who are walking under there...
You can walk in the tunnels now.
You can walk under the
feeling
tunnel.
like you're in Gotham City.
Exactly.
Officially.
Yeah. Catwoman won't come out at you, but you can
That's
feel...
the least of your worries.
Yeah, you can feel comfortable and safe going under there, and you can see what's coming up around the corner. And so that was a big win for us.
Great.
Next up in our Crime Watch and Crime and Safety is getting the rest of the lights turned on. There's some great stuff that is happening, and the city's been helpful, but it's just a little bit of a slower process. But as residents, we continue to work hard and be hopeful that we can continue this great relationship to push this stuff forward and get it going on.
Great. And so we talked a little bit about 2018. Let's talk 2019 goals outside of the Crime Watch and the river cleanup, all the continuation of everything you already have going on, as if you need more to do. But let's talk 2019. What are the goals that came out of the board meeting a couple days ago?
Great question. One of the big things that we're really working on and we're excited about is we're going to start an ambassador program with the different buildings in downtown. You've got Peerless, the Avalon, the Regency Plaza. You've got all these great living establishments. The Arcade, which I'm staring at, are all great places to live. And so what we'd like to do is get ambassadors from each of these buildings or properties to come together and be a liaison for the DNA. So if there are new residents or if there are concerns that your building needs might have, we can work together and collaborate and make it all come together and happen. So.
Awesome. And so I have to ask, sometimes while there is progress I feel like it's easy to feel like things are kind of hindered in the kind of area that you're in. So how do you find that you guys stay positive and, feel the impact of this on a monthly basis when, it may not be the progress that you want to be making?
The two words that come to mind are tenacity and diversity. We're tenacious. We make sure that we always are, we follow up with folks. We put in a lot of hard work. Rich Pizzillo is the board chair. He puts in a ton of work, with a full-time job as well. This is all volunteer. We all have full-time jobs. But Rich works very hard to make sure that he's communicating with folks. We're very strategic, too, about making sure that when we do communicate, it's in a collaborative spirit, because we want to work with everyone. We want to work well with everyone. We're not moving. None of us are moving, and we're all going to be here for a while, so let's have fun with it. The other thing that we do is, the other word that came to mind is diversity. And in that sense, we really try to make sure that if we're having meetings, we bring in a diverse group of speakers so that no matter what topic you're interested in, you can find something at one of our meetings that might speak to your interests or something that you're concerned about, and give people the opportunity to get answers to their questions that they might not otherwise know how to get answered.
Excellent. And obviously hot topic right now, Thane Tower. How is everybody feeling in the DNA about this project?
Yes, so that would greatly change the DNA of the downtown or the city landscape.
About the city landscape.
Yes, so we have chatted quite extensively with our friends in the Jewelry District who are particularly impacted by that as well. We did take a formal vote from our membership and said, are you for or against? Simple question. Okay. And we had about 60% of our residents in downtown came out against the tower, and about 40% came out for it. And again, anticipating the next question, perhaps, we found that most people, while we are all excited about the potential for growth and development, there's just a lot of concern about what the building looks like and how it would integrate into the fabric of downtown. And also, additionally, just to make it short, I know I'm long-winded, the other part is people are concerned about, the long-term, you build this huge building, what's the economic impact of that after the workers go away? The construction jobs are fabulous, but there needs to be some kind of self-sustaining economy around the building that is, built for long-term use. So,
and I want to talk a little bit about Hotel Hive, which you guys posted as well, which is sort of a on the opposite spectrum. It's a building that already exists and will be renovated, which I think, if our viewers aren't aware, it's sort of on the corner of Westminster and, is it Union or Eddy? That's Eddy.
It's Eddy, yeah.
Westminster and Eddy, so that has been empty for
years.
Long time.
Longer than I've lived in Providence. Well, it was occupied to a certain degree.
It had something, it had a club in it.
It did, and then it had a really great, I'm not going to go there, but we passed by it and it had a very colorful existence. There was also a wig shop in the bottom, a weave shop.
That's gone now, okay.
It is gone.
So there were plans that were put out for that.
There were plans and there was actually action. There was construction going on there, and then as I understand, there was something didn't quite go right, and so plans went on hold, and then a new developer came in, and Hotel Hive, we're all very excited about it. The parent company is based out of Washington, D.C. My work actually takes me to D.C., and I've stayed in their properties down there. They have one in Chinatown area, if anyone's familiar, that's beautiful. They did a fabulous job rehabbing an old space. So, we're thrilled. It's a beautiful building. My husband and I used to live right across, and we'd look out at the building, and it's just stunning. So we're really excited about something coming in there. The blueprints are in the story that we posted on our Facebook page. And so the amenities, everything about it is really exciting. It's going to bring some great energy to that part of the city and to a building that is just, oh my gosh, unbelievable. If you walk by, look up, because at street level, you're missing most of the beauty. So
and so you're really ingrained in the downtown life, obviously, and coming from a big city like DC, we do a lot of talk of trends at GoLocal, and we're seeing scooters and bicycles and all this stuff come into Providence. What are you seeing as like the next big trends that you think, are going to ebb and flow through the city?
Well, we're hoping that the bicycle thing will catch on. One of the things that we've really loved about the bikes and about these things is it increases, people's ability to flow throughout the city. RIPTAs, of course, does a great job with their buses, but buses aren't for everyone, and people have different transportation needs. And so for a lot of those shorter trips, things like scooters and bikes are really ideal. And so we're just very excited to watch those programs flourish. Sounds like they have a little bit more fine-tuning to do in terms of policies and how that's all going to work. But for the most part, we're really excited to see those kinds of, I guess you could call it shorter-term transportation opportunities, just a mouthful, come to fruition and help us all to be able to manage and get around the downtown area a little bit better.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for coming on.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are delighted to have you here, and I know you guys are always looking for volunteers, so if any of our viewers are interested, you can check out the Facebook Providence Downtown Neighborhood Association, or even attend the next meeting in January.
Yes, we have
Crime Watch,
the Crime Watch. We have a regular meeting second Tuesday of every month at Grace Church Pavilion.
Great.
And lastly, I'll plug our new website, which is dnapvd.com, which we're very excited about.
Well, you heard it here. We have a founder of the Neighborhood Association. We talked trends. We talked Fame Tower. I think we covered it. So, Michael, thank you for joining us. We're going to move the discussion over to Pawtucket. We have Lee Vincola from Farm Fresh RI next to talk about the Wintertime Farmers Market. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning back in. Our last guest today is Lee Vincola from Farm Fresh, Rhode Island. Thank you, Lee, for joining us today. We have been, going back and forth for a few weeks about the farmers market, so I'm glad we could get you on. It is a very busy time of year. The launch of the Pawtucket Wintertime Farmers Market, which is probably one of the bigger farmers markets in Rhode Island that you can go to.
Indoor market in New England in the winter.
There we go. Biggest indoor in the winter in New England.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, all those statistics. So for those who may not know, it's been going on now for 11 years. It's a big farmers market. Yep. Tell us a little bit, a brief overview, broad, about kind of the history of how this started.
Yeah, so the Wintertime Market was actually started at AS 220 many years ago, and then it sort of outgrew the space, so it was moved over to the Hope Artiste Village in Pawtucket, which is where we are today still. And it's grown year by year. We used to be down one hallway in that big building, and now we occupy two hallways. We have about 80 vendors in total, about 60 plus on any given Saturday.
Okay.
Their market runs on Saturday mornings, November through April, so the first week in November through the last week in April. And from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And lots of people come out. We did some customer counts recently, which is a project we've been working towards.
Figure out exactly.
Yeah, it's hard because there's so many different ways to enter that building. But we realized we get about 3,000 or 35 people come through the doors on a given Saturday.
So 80 vendors, not just including food. There's crafts. There are no crafts. Not craft stuff.
No.
I mean soaps and
there are some
beauty
beauty products. We have a bunch of prepared foods.
We have
food trucks outside.
Cool.
And
you guys sort of started making it fun. There's sort of, for the past few weeks, I think there's been an event, sort of a feature event at each market. Can you talk to us a little bit about those and what you have coming up as
we have, this coming weekend, this Saturday, we have a Kids Day.
Cool.
So we have a few fun activities for kids. We're going to have Mrs. Claus is going
Mrs. Claus.
Mrs. Claus.
Santa's busy.
Santa is very busy, so we secured Mrs. Claus.
There you go.
We have a woman Kara from Art on the Spot, who comes pretty much every weekend and just does balloon animals and face painting and stuff for kids. And she's a really big draw for the market, and she just comes and takes some tips, and she's wonderful and brings a lot of magic to the market. Yeah. So she's going to be there with Mrs. Claus. Some of the vendors are doing like kids specials. Our Farm Fresh Nutrition Education Program is doing having a table and making little ornaments for kids. Some of the other tenants in the building are doing special things. Like there's going to be the cast from the Nutcracker is going to be there for another photo opportunity. So there's lots of fun things. Some carolers. It's very festive.
Very festive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's make it fitting
Yeah.
for the season.
Yeah.
So Farm Fresh Uri, you guys have 9 markets, I think, year round, and you're sort of like the hub website for all the farmers markets in Rhode Island. So talk a little bit about your involvement in the community. I know I always see, Farm Fresh partners with, like, there'll be apples at Blue Cross and things like that. So how are you guys involved?
Sure. We run 9 farmers markets in the summer, and then the wintertime market, so 10 in total. And our markets in the summer are in Providence, Pawtucket, Central Falls, Woonsocket, and West Warwick. Mm-hmm. Our summer markets are a lot smaller. They're not nearly the size of the wintertime market or the Hope Street market, which we do not manage.
Yes.
There's some confusion about that, but we do not manage that market. And our summer markets are much more food access driven, so they're put into neighborhoods where there isn't a lot of access to fresh foods. Okay. And we also run the Bonus Bucks program, which is a nutrition incentive program for people on SNAP who shop at the farmers markets, where we double their dollars. So if you shop at the farmers market and using your SNAP card or your EBT card, you get double whatever you were intending on spending.
Great. So for those people who are kind of shy away from farmers market because of the cost, which you just discussed, I mean, who is this benefiting? What would you say to them in terms of who you're supporting when you go to a farmers market and why it's important to head out and buy local?
Yeah, there's so many reasons why it's important. It's
we'll make a list.
It's supporting first of all the farmers who are growing our food. They're in Rhode Island. We actually have a really great tight network of direct farmer to consumer. I think we rank actually highest in the country as far as that's concerned, and I think that's because of our size. That we don't have to go very far to find each other.
Yeah. You can only go the total of 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So you're supporting local agriculture, which is great. We need farms. We need to eat. We need to preserve farmland. And you're also supporting your community because the dollars stay right in your the community where you are. Yeah.
And talk about the winter farmers market as a whole. I mean, you would think that helps farmers out for that period where we have this obvious 8 months of winter, if that's possible, in Rhode Island. And so is it kind of boosting their ability to keep going for the rest of the year?
It's a big part of a lot of their business plans is the wintertime farmers markets. And we're not the only winter market in the state. There are a couple in the South County as well.
Yep.
That a lot of vendors do. But yeah, it's a really important piece. And as agriculture has grown in the state and New England, a lot of farmers have learned how to extend their season, so they're growing more greens indoors and storing root crops, and just having more available throughout the whole winter. So some of the farmers will start to fall off this time of year, January, because they don't have anything left. But then they'll ramp back up. In a few
what
months.
is in season in the winter? What do we normally see at the market?
We see a lot of root vegetables like
turnips,
turnips and carrots and potatoes.
And you can get recipes, I think, on your site.
We have a couple.
You guys post a few. Okay. And so you are a part owner in Troop, actually. We had Troop on the show I think a month ago, and so I'm assuming you guys are using local fruit and vegetables and meats at Troop. Okay, so talk to me about how you came to be at this job at Farm Fresh Rhode Island. Why are you passionate about this?
I mean, I've been involved in agriculture for quite a long time. I actually studied sustainable agriculture in college in the 90s, and everyone thought I was crazy.
I want to learn about farms.
But yeah, that's what I did, and I come to it from sort of a communications and marketing background. I've worked on farms, but I'm a writer too, and I write a lot about agriculture and food systems. And then I've done a lot of event planning around food and food systems and sustainability and agriculture.
Perfect.
So yeah, my transition to Farm Fresh made a lot of sense for a lot of different reasons.
And now, do you guys have anything to do with the Veggie Box program?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk a little bit about Veggie Box, because I think that's pretty cool, and I don't know if a lot of people know about that. I did it for a little while myself.
Yeah, Veggie Box is actually going on pause for a little while, so I'm just going to knock on it. Yeah.
It's paused.
Yeah, it's paused.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
It's new information.
New information. Breaking news.
Yeah.
Veggie Box is going on pause. If you have one, you won't be getting it.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that starts back up, because that was a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
So, if people are interested in finding out about farmers markets in Rhode Island, they can go to farmfreshri.com to find out. I think all of them.
.org.
.org.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm saying everything wrong now. The Veggie Box is done.
Yeah.
Whoops.
And then we also manage the local food guide, which is online as well, and that is a whole database of farms and restaurants and CSAs and all different places, and farmers markets and different places to find local food across the state and the region a little bit, some of Connecticut.
Great. Well, we hope everybody gets out this Saturday or any Saturday up till April 27th, I think. Correct?
Yeah.
To the largest wintertime
indoor
farmers market in New England.
Yeah, that's right.
And go out and get some fresh fruits and vegetables. Support your local farmer. We love that kind of thing. So we appreciate you coming in to talk with us.
Thanks for having me.
And go see Mrs. Claus this weekend, this Saturday for the family weekend, which should be pretty fun because it's one of those things, dragging your kid to something like that is not always easy.
And then
we've got
we have a couple things for the holiday season. Well, all the time, but this is our 2018-2019 tote bag, official tote bag.
Nice. Is that a Buffoni Farms?
It may or may not be. Buffoni's is one of our vendors.
Of course, we had them on for Thanksgiving.
And then designed by a local artist.
Great.
And then these also designed by a local artist are a set of note cards for each season. This is some like a vegetable mandala.
Those are the squash?
Yeah.
The fall,
this
winter.
This is winter, yeah.
That's nice. I love that. Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you being able to come on the show.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody for tuning in. We had a great show today. We appreciate you being with us. We'll be back next week with another lifestyle segment. In the meantime, make sure to check out GoLocalProv.com. Stay up to date on what is happening in Rhode Island. We'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.